Dr. Michael Bruce, now author of Energize and a clinical psychologist specializing in sleep. Doctor, people are making New Year's resolutions. What's one thing that they could do to sleep better?
Well, one thing I want to make a point of is if you want to keep your New Year's resolutions, you better get good sleep in order to have that motivation and that energy to do that. If I had to pick only one thing, it would be wake up at the same time every single morning, including the weekends. I know that stinks for people out there, but by doing that, you keep your circadian rhythm very consistent and you'll fall asleep better. You'll wake up better. It makes the whole system work a whole lot better.
Is work from home helping people sleep better? Because I've heard from many who don't have to commute anymore who've said it's improved the amount of sleep they're getting. Maybe the data will show us that, or maybe it's just not that big of a trend.
Well, no, I agree with you, actually, Kelly. I think that number one, people are sleeping a little bit longer. However, they're not keeping their schedules tight. So it seems to be floating around a little bit. So that they throw on the ball cap before 5 minutes before the Zoom meeting, as opposed to waking up and maybe having their morning routines. So people are definitely sleeping longer, but what we want them to do is sleep more consistently at specific times.
We say, a lot of people are getting fewer than 7 hours. Is that itself the problem? I've heard before that it's not whether you get a little sleep, but whether you're trying to get more sleep. In other words, if you just say, hey, I sleep on 5 or 6 hours, that's my life and I'm fine with it, it might not be as damaging.
So here's what the bottom line data will show us is anybody who's sleeping less than 6 hours a night, we start to see motor vehicle problems like dexterity issues, things of that nature. So nobody really should be sleeping ever less than 6 hours on a regular basis. Now, to be fair, I don't think everybody needs 8 either. So the National Sleep Foundation recommends between 7 and 9 hours. As a sleep specialist, I've got some patients that sleep 6.5 and they do just fine. So I think it's an individual difference, but be true to yourself. If you wake up after 6.5 hours and you're still pretty tired, you may need a little bit more rest.
Yeah, I'm a long, I need like 8 or 9 hours, to be honest. Don't always get it. What about interrupted sleep? I'm asking on behalf of my husband. This is his big struggle. When he gets up, he can't fall back to sleep.
So every journalist that I've ever worked with always tells me, number one, they have to get up too early, and number two, their spouse doesn't like it because they get woken up sometimes as well. So absolutely, it can be very disruptive to get woken up in the middle of the evening. One of the things that I always talk about with people in the middle of the evening is, if you can, lower your heart rate. Many people don't know, but a heart rate of 60 or below helps you get back into a state of unconsciousness. So a simple trick or technique that I have people use, developed originally by Dr. Andrew Weil, is called 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4, you hold it for a count of 7, breathe out for a count of 8. Do this for about 6 or 7 cycles, and it immediately starts to lower your heart rate and helps you get back to bed.
Hang on, I'm trying to exhale for 8 seconds because holding it for 7 was a long time. But maybe that works. It is hard. Doctor, thank you so much for your time tonight.